AskReddit by screwed my life up sadly. What is legal but very immoral? The criminal code prohibits, but does not define, bestiality. In 2016, the Supreme Court of Canada held in RVDLW that Canada's bestiality offences did not prohibit non-penetrative sex acts with animals. The proposed amendments would add a definition of bestiality to clarify that. So it was changed, but 8 years ago this in Canada. I often walk up to a cow and ask, "Hey girl, would you like to participate in some non-penetrative sex acts? Be a gentleman, always ask first. If she says moo, you're good to go." Registering your phone as a toll call number, then signing it up to countless pestering services and religious groups spam bombing that number. But that means I have to still talk with them. Congress insider trading. That one is truly baffling, how it's even allowed. Paying off a credit card and closing it with your bank lowers your credit score. This will never not be insane to me. Your assumptions are incorrect. A credit score is not for your benefit, it's for the company's. TikTok users that think they are doing pranks. Slaps an old man in the back of the head. Dude, chill, it was just a prank. Having a phone conversation on loudspeaker in a public place. My phone only works on speaker. Even worse, I agree with you. Punishing children who aren't even legally able to work for their parents' lack of wealth. Where I live, they allow kids to go through the lunch line and pick out what they want to eat, and then will snatch that tray away and trash it because the parents didn't put money on the child's lunch account. They do this to kids as young as 3. Some schools have 3-year-olds in preg, and to the special needs kids who aren't even able to understand why it's happening. Schools also throw away a ton of perfectly good food every day while they have children in their buildings who don't know when their next meal will be or how they will get it. Your parents are potentially the most important decider for how your life will turn out, so your complaint could go much deeper. If you have genetics that are predisposed to addiction, mental illness, diseases, or subpar intellectual abilities, you're potentially doomed or literally sentenced to death. Beyond genetics, we have thousands of years of history where power and money almost always stay within the aristocratic class, although that's mostly a consequence of the systems we developed. Currently, it's capitalism enforcing this status quo, but feudalism, serfdom and other systems served the purpose in the past. Spiking orphan drug prices. Orphan as in is the only treatment for. That's a US thing, BTW. Most, if not all, European countries have very effective laws against that. Backyard breeders. Sounds like a porno. But yeah, I agree. Every morning I hear tons of little yappy dogs at my neighbors, and when I walk by, their yard is full of little cages, but I never see the dogs. It's creepy. Probably not related to the BBQ stand across the street, but it makes me wonder. Ruining the lives of whistleblowers apparently. Taking. Tax evasion strategies by large corporations. While technically legal through loopholes, they shift the tax burden to regular people and deprive governments of funds for public services, highlighting a gap between legality and morality. Or at the very least, the tax burden is shifted to us all by way of debt. I wish we'd amend the Constitution with some common sense language that prohibits continued borrowing with no thought whatsoever about paying it back. Taking expensive gifts from a billionaire as a sitting Supreme Court justice. Being annoying. Funny thing is that in my country, being annoying can lead to jail time of up to a month. Having sex with your friend's dad while the wife is in the kitchen cooking dinner. And then all sitting together at the table over a delicious meal, and asking the wife if it's okay if you have seconds. Seems personal. Landlords having astronomically high rent in places where there shouldn't even be people living. and even higher rent in places where people could plausibly live. Your comment is 24 words too long. Scalping. Which version are we talking about? Circumcision of infants. Taxation on already taxed income. When are we gonna rebel? Cheating on your partner. In some places adultery is a felony or misdemeanor, but only if you're married. Hoarding mass wealth, leaving citizens to die on the streets, lunch debt for children, etc. Mostly systemic things than individual acts. If I had immense wealth, I would build a school specifically for underprivileged kids and hire some of the best teachers. Lunches would be free and with good nutritional food. It wouldn't be a for-profit school. It would specifically be for children who would fail otherwise but are now given the best to overcome their odds for social mobility, which would help them out of poverty. That has always been a dream of mine since I was in college. I saw a particular boy who cannot afford being in school having to drop out, not because he was incompetent. He dropped out because he had no money and the family needed income. He lived nearby and sometimes we would see him walk past wistfully, but he wouldn't say hi to us. Eventually, he stopped walking past the college. Payday cash advance loans. It's astonishing that they are allowed to exist. Never a good idea. For-profit healthcare, as the only option. Pyramid schemes AskReddit. Charging $10,000 plus for an ambulance ride hospital visit. Betting on food prices to profit from starvation. How do you bet on food prices?